Hi, welcome to Reform Tech channel. I hope you have seen my previous videos on AWS, and now I'm going to talk and walk you through about DevOps. Alright, so I'll be covering most of the tools that are used by a DevOps engineer in a series of videos. Right, so let's first see what is DevOps. Okay, so it comes from two words. Alright, so dev plus ops, so meaning that development plus operations. Okay, so it is not a technology, it is not a software, it is not a programming language. It is the way how you take your product so many people can use it. So it is a working way. Alright, so it is just a concept in application lifecycle management. So we can work in a relaxed way. Okay, we don't want to put more stress, or we don't want to waste more time. Alright, so yeah, so if you see what is a DevOps, if you just Google, this would be the definition. But if I go through this definition, might be you'll be a little confusing. Alright, so I will tell what is DevOps in my own words. Right, so yeah, so let's see first what was there before DevOps, so that it'll be easy for you to understand. Okay, so before DevOps, what happened was if for example, think of some software. Okay, so if you want to build a software, what happens is that a developer writes a code and then he builds it and then he passes that to a tester and they test it, and then he passes on to a person who can release and who can operate it. Alright, so as you could see in this picture, it is all of you're just handing off at each stage, right? So once this stage is completed, you're just handing off to the tester, and this is completed, you're handing off to the release and operation team, right? So it seems like there is a wall in between the development and operations. Alright, so every time the developer writes a code and he just throws to the operation team, and he has to they have to deploy it, and they have to deploy it, and then they have to come back to a development team, right? So this is a wall of confusion. Okay, so what happens is that, say for example, if there is an bug, okay, that an operation team sees, so he has to go and report to the development team. Okay, then they have to again update the changes, and then they'll pass on the new code to the operation team, then they will deliver it. Right, so there was a wall in between the development and operations team, which was little taking much time for a software to get released, and also there were many errors that came in. Okay, so now what happened is that DevOps is a kind of is an operations where a development team and also the operation teams come together and work. Okay, as you could see here, they both come together and they work. So what happens now is that when they come together, they can communicate faster, and it will also help us to release the software quickly. Okay, so this is DevOps. Okay, now let's see what are the different tools that are available in DevOps. Okay, there are a lot of tools, but this is just an overview. Okay, so this is also called as a cycle. This is an infinity cycle in DevOps. Okay, so I'll just explain what is this and what are the tools involved in each stages. Okay, so first is the planning stage. So development team will plan with the object and requirements. Okay, and then the code. Okay, once it is done, then the coding begins. Now developers will write the code and store it in a repo. Okay, repository like GitHub or Bitbucket or any other local any other version control tools they can use. Okay, so once the code is done, then they build it. So the build is happen. We can build the code with some tools like Maven or Gradle or such tools. You can build the code, the raw code. Okay, so once it is built, then you have to test the code. Okay, so test is done by using a Selenium or JUnit or any such tools. Okay, so yeah, so we'll test for any bugs. Okay, so once these tests are passed and it is ready for deploy, it will then get deployed using any cloud. Okay, you can deploy it to any cloud like AWS or Azure or any platform. You can do it. All right, so the how are we deploying it? You can deploy it using any of these like Ansible or Kubernetes or Chef. Any of these tools help you to deploy this. Okay, then so once it is deployed and it is all fine, you have to monitor the applications. Okay, whether it is running good or you're finding any latency issues or the application is down, or any bugs or anything you have to identify using the monitoring tools. Okay, so you have various monitoring tools like the Splunk, the Datadog, the Prometheus, the Grafana, Nagios, or these. There are many other monitoring tools. Okay, so you can use these tools for monitoring the software. Okay, so once that is done, then what happens is that this is the integration. Okay, this integration, the whole integration is done using Jenkins. Okay, so this is a tool, this is called as an integration tool, which sends the code to build and test. So if the code passes, then it sends to the deploy. Okay, so all this is done using an integration. So it is all integrated, all these phases are integrated using a tool like Jenkins. Okay, so this makes the software to release very soon, very early. The software can be released, and also there will be less bugs also. Okay, so and the communication between the development team and the operation team will be much faster, and also they can easily fix any bug. Okay, so this is in DevOps. Okay, so that's it for this video, and I'll talk about various tools like Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, Ansible, GitHub in the upcoming videos. All right. Yeah. Thanks for watching this video. Please do subscribe.